If you feel like you're settling, let's have that uncomfortable conversation. You also have to have boundaries within yourself, and you also have to be so content and happy within yourself, confident, and you love your own space. Then any man that comes in is just an extra bonus in terms of what he adds to your life. You know, you have to be able as well to have those really honest conversations with yourself. If this is all that the relationship will ever be, am I happy and content with that? Men don't date women in hopes that they become attractive. She's gonna be a baddie one day. They will try and date the baddest bitch that they possibly can get right now, which is why you see a lot of men punching. Whilst it's important to understand the dynamics of masculine and feminine energy, you also have to have boundaries within yourself, and you also have to be so content and happy within yourself that if your man walks out and leaves you alone tomorrow, that you're still good. Because when you're still good and you're so happy being alone and confident and you love your own space, then any man that comes in is just an extra bonus in terms of what he adds to your life. I can't stress enough the importance of being so happy with your life and who you are as a person. You need to have so much confidence in who you are as a person, what you provide, what you bring to the table. Because if you've got low self-worth as a woman, then anyone is just going to try and take you for granted and is going to try and just walk all over you. And of course you're not happy, and of course you feel like you're settling, and of course you feel like your boundaries aren't being met because you don't even have those standards for yourself and what you expect of yourself. So how can you expect someone else to come into your life? And if you're pretty fragile emotionally, and as soon as someone comes in and gives you that little bit of attention, you're going to cling on to that, and you're going to be giving him so much of your energy than what you should. Okay, so you know, you have to be able as well to have those really honest conversations with yourself. And you got to think as a woman, okay, as emotional as we get as women, you have to be able to sit with yourself and think, can I separate logic from emotions here? What do I want out of my life? Am I happy right now? And if this is all that it ever is, can I be content with that? Because as women, we get so caught up in, oh, I do love him, and like, yes, we do love each other, but these things I'm not happy with, and I do feel like I'm settling, and you know, he keeps talking about these things he's going to do, but he never actually does. We play the nice girl when it comes to being in relationships, that we think we give our person benefit of the doubt. We are so giving and we're so caring, and we give so much of ourselves to this relationship. But when we do that, we're giving so much of our power away. So you need to be able to have those conversations with yourself and think, if this is all that the relationship will ever be, am I happy and content with that? We often fall in love with someone's potential and not with what they're currently doing. So you need to think to yourself, if this is all that it is, am I happy? And can I live my life knowing that, if it doesn't change? Because if you've been complaining about a certain thing for a period of time and nothing's changed, and it's just all talk, and literally it's been year after year, it's been the same thing and same issue, even though the relationship overall is still good, and you're still kind of like, oh, I don't know if this is still for me, and it's always on your heart, because your person, you should be so 100% positive in, and it should just uplift you in every single area of life, and it should make you a better person, and you should be able to help each other together. You don't want to be held back. So don't fall in love with someone's potential. Fall in love with what they're doing right now, the actions that they're doing, because falling in love with their potential means nothing. Action over anything. And even if it breaks your own heart, and even if it's so hard and you do love them and you've been through so much together, you have to really think about this, because it is a serious decision. Who you are dating isn't to be taken lightly. This is going to be, chances are, your partner for life. we obviously date to marry, to find our soulmate. So it's a serious decision. Like, don't just go into a relationship not really thinking about it, because guess what? One day you end up pregnant, and like, that's the person that you're gonna be with for the rest of your life, especially as a woman, because you had those kids. It is generally more of a burden for a woman to be a single mother than a dad to be a single father. It's unfortunate and I hate that, but it's the reality. Our bodies go through so much to even be able to have a baby in the first place. So this is a serious decision. So even if it's hard emotionally, you have to think logically, as hard as that is and as unnatural as it is. But having that positive self-worth and that massive confidence and just that trust in the universe that your person is out there and that there is more for you. Because if you're desiring more and you feel like there's got to be more, because if you met your partner right now and him offering to you exactly as he is right now, and you knew for a fact that nothing was going to change, would you still date him right now? And if the answer is no, then you really need to have a serious conversation with yourself, even if it's hard. So, and remember as well, what one man won't do, another man will. There are so many great men out there who will give you the world, who also likes the same things that you do, who you also have a connection with, who also ticks all the other boxes that you wouldn't even have to second guess it. Like, yeah, for sure, there are a lot of like people out there who are not going to be your person, that you don't vibe with, but if you had the mindset of like, oh, I don't want to lose him because he's still a good person, and what if I don't find anyone else, you've already lost. The whole thing as well, when it comes to potential and dating, and making sure that you're not dating someone just for their potential, but dating them for them who they are now. Men don't date women in hopes that they become attractive. They don't think, oh, I'm gonna date her and think, oh, she's gonna be a baddie one day. They will try and date the baddest bitch that they possibly can get right now, which is why you see a lot of men punching with these 10 out of 10s, because women don't have that high enough self-worth and they feel like they need to rush, whereas you actually don't. And as soon as you can have that like confidence within yourself, then you have even more options, because people are attracted to people who are confident and who are so sure of themselves. You can't just cling onto anyone who just gives you that little bit of attention, because chances are they're going to end up resenting you in future if you have that kind of mentality. I think it's also really important as a woman to understand how men think. Men don't walk around thinking, oh, I hope I find the love of my life, or I cannot wait to find my wife that I can grow old with. For sure, there are absolutely men who do think that, and we love them. But I think if you can understand that men aren't emotional and they don't think like we do. Every single Disney movie that we ever watched growing up is all about finding your Prince Charming and finding, you know, the one. Men don't think about that. We have been so conditioned societally that that's like a thing that you have to do, but men don't think about that. They don't think, oh, I hope I find a good woman. Like, good women are everywhere, okay? So I can't stress enough the importance of just taking your emotions out of a situation and being so logical about your decision, about who you decide to date and who you decide to be your life partner. And this as well goes specifically for anyone who has just been in those long-term relationships in your young 20s. If you've never really had a period of time where you've actually been single and learnt what it's like to be by yourself, or to just date other guys, doesn't have to mean anything, just understand what you do and don't like about someone, and just being able to be in that position where you can just learn, because you just genuinely don't know. And even if you haven't necessarily just been in one long-term relationship, but I see a lot of people just jumping from one long-term relationship to another. So if you've never had that actual time to be single and to be in your thoughts of what I want and to actually think about what you desire out of life and learn how men's brains actually think, men kind of know the game. They know what they need to do to sell you the dream, to tell you all these nice things. And women, we go, oh yeah, great, he sounds amazing, haven't seen his action yet. And then you end up maybe giving too much of yourself, and guess what he does? He got what he wanted and he gone ghost you, baby, which we don't want. And then women, after you give too much of yourself, we think illogically, and that we all get caught up, and then our ego gets hurt, and then that, guess what? That lowers our value of ourselves. Men understand the game. So be aware of what's happening. Like, just be aware. See the situation for what it is. Take out your emotions. Is he just selling you a dream? Is he just telling you these things? And chances are, otherwise, you're just going to end up being in a relationship for 10 years with no ring, which is what most women do tend to want, is that they just want to get married and have babies. It is generally pretty wired in us since a young age that that's what we do, and that's what all women dream about. And I know, because I'm a woman and I've been around many women, I have a lot of friends, and yeah, these are our conversations about the man that we're going to marry one day. We can help it or not, this is where our mind goes. But if you can take out that element of it and see the situation for what actually is, you'll be able to save yourself from a lot of heartache, because otherwise you'll end up being in a 10-year relationship that you're really not happy with, that you've had these kids to, and that you end up being a single mom at 35. And guess what? Men, unfortunately, do go for younger women. I hate it. I don't agree with it, but it's just the game. Men will always try and go for a woman who's younger, who is quote unquote more beautiful, who doesn't have baggage. As well, when it comes to being in a relationship for that amount of time and that you're still not getting a ring, if your man knows that he can keep stringing you along and keep saying, oh yeah, the ring's coming next year, next year, next year. Next year comes, you still don't have a ring, because he knows the power of just being able to tell you these things. And once again, it goes on, don't fall in love with someone's potential, fall in love with someone's actions and what they'll be able to do for you. So once again, I never want this video to come off in a way that like, oh, you should break up with your partner or anything like that, because I'm actually a really big advocate that relationships take work no matter what. You know, even if they're your soulmate and you love them so much, it takes work on both ends. But you also have to make sure that you have a super serious conversation with yourself. You have to have a high self-worth and self-confidence within you that you're not going to settle, and understand and trust the fact that there is so much more out there for you. And if you aren't happy, just know that someone else, that your partner is out there one day. But also, even if he's not, you have to be so confident and happy in the fact that you're going to be so happy alone. And just don't be one of those women that will get so caught up in just trying to find the one, because otherwise, if you come from a point of desperation, you're going to end up in a really tough position, and you're going to have a lot of regrets. And I see it from time and again, that you're going to wish that you hadn't stayed in a relationship that you weren't really happy with. So all that I'm saying is be super smart, be super selective, understand that there is more out for you if you believe it. And as I said, I'm not saying that you should go break up with your partner tomorrow. Make sure that you do the work on yourself first, and then bring that into the relationship, and then make sure that your relationship, you've tried everything with each other, and being able to have those healthy, honest conversations with each other. And then from there, if things still aren't working out and nothing changes, then you just can't settle, and you have to put yourself first at the end of the day. Anyway guys, I hope you found this video helpful. I know it's a little bit different compared to my usual videos that I do tend to do. However, I hope you kind of gain some more insight in terms of just like dating and just raising your standards as a whole. But make sure you subscribe, like, leave a comment below what your thoughts were, and I'll see you guys in the next video.